Hello, welcome back to Breakfast with John Kay and Sarah Campbell.
Just come out to 6:30. I don't know whether you've seen it, but there's been a big TV drama on this week. It's had a lot of attention. It's called Mr Bates versus the Post Office. Final episode, I think, is tonight, and it tells the true story of those hundreds of sub-postmasters who were wrongly prosecuted for theft and false accounting.
Yeah, of course, the real-life victims hoped that this mini-series, this television, would raise more awareness of their fight for justice. I mean, Ben, you've spoken about this story before. It's been such a long-running story. Just remind us of the background.
Yeah, and it's one of those where if you're watching it, not realising it was based on real life, you think, how on earth have the scriptwriters come up with this? It is so extraordinary. But that's the point about it. It is based on real events, and it is truly, truly shocking. Good morning to you. Yes, the Post Office Horizon scandal, as it's called, is regarded as one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in British history. It's led to a public inquiry looking into what went wrong and who was ultimately responsible for so many people being wrongly accused of something they did not do. The ITV drama, Mr Bates versus the Post Office, follows the story of those involved. Take a look.
I'm a mother. I don't want to go to prison.
Look, we're changing your plea, OK? Not guilty. And this time I'm coming to court with you.
Hey, now if you're thinking of going to court, just be careful.
Well, there are people here who've done time. We've all lost our businesses and our savings. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
And the other question is how it all began in real life. Let me take you back, because in 1999, the Post Office rolled out a computer system called Horizon. It was supplied by the Japanese company Fujitsu, and it was used for things like transactions, accounting and stock taking. But soon after it came in, there were complaints about bugs in the system after shortfalls were reported, sometimes amounting to many thousands of pounds. Some sub-postmasters tried to plug the gap with their own money, even remortgaging their homes in some cases to try to correct an error. Between 2000 and 2014, more than 700 branch managers were given criminal convictions when what turned out to be faulty accounting software had made it look as though cash was missing from their sites. And it wasn't until 2019 that the Post Office leadership finally acknowledged the wide scope of the errors, which was a real turning point in this whole saga. So where are we now? Well, a public inquiry is still taking place, with the full findings expected in early 2025. So far, only 93 convictions have been quashed, and the battle for compensation for those affected, well, that's far from over. Then, of course, there's the big question of accountability. While the public inquiry doesn't have the power to punish anyone, the Crown Prosecution Service is keeping a watchful eye on proceedings. James Hartley is a lawyer who's helped more than 500 sub-postmaster victims.
First of all, how can this have happened in the UK in a government-owned corporate, which is what the public inquiry will help to get to the bottom of? But it's the obvious next question. Well, who's accountable? And how are they going to pay for this? Now, it's true to say that some senior individuals within Post Office and, to a degree, Fujitsu are paying a price in terms of their reputations completely in tatters, and they've lost their careers. But is that enough? In the eyes of many, that's not enough.
The Post Office says it is deeply sorry and doing all that it can to right the wrongs of the past, adding that it fully shares the aims of the current public inquiry set up to establish what went wrong and who was responsible. Many questions, though, remain unanswered, and almost 20 years on from when this all first started, the fight for justice continues. Sub-postmasters and postmistresses hope this ITV drama will increase the pressure on the government to pay full compensation to those who are still waiting. Sarah, John.
Ben, thank you very much indeed.